For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
It's your Lofty program, once again, State of the Nation, where we hasten the motions for national development. And when it comes to national development, you're part of it too. If we're talking in terms of national development, we need to talk about all the parameters that makes up the government, all the parameters that affects you and I. The number one thing that affects you and I, that is paramount in life, is security. You need to be alive to do everything. If you're not alive, you can't eat. If you're not alive, you can't work. If you're not alive, you can't make money. If you're not alive, you can't wear any dress. So basically, security is the major thing in our life. But unfortunately, these days we are having too many situations that are untoward. The killings are getting rampant. The kidnappings are getting rampant. The banditry is way out of the ordinary. Religious outrages are out there too. Do we call God in? The thing is, God doesn't come down. He sends human beings to make things happen. So if anything is going to happen to us, it has to be us, because He's going to send one of us to get the job done. We never know who the person is going to be until we all put all our hands on deck. With me in the studio this morning is none other than my friend who is a journalist, a man who is into journalism in total. He even lectures the oncoming ones that will be in journalism. So little wonder he's going to give us some tidbits that are going to sound like lectures this morning as to the questions I am going to ask him. It's none other than my brother, Dr. Austin Maho. You're welcome to the program, my brother.
All right, Bola. Nice to be here.
Same here. Always glad to have you on air. With my intro, the element of security and insecurity needs no gainsaying in Nigeria. It's a known fact. It's all over the place, and then it's like it's getting worse on a daily basis. And then the latest one that happened is this shooting in Owo. You see, before we now go into the Owo situation, can you please give us a preamble about what is happening to our security system, that things are getting worse on a daily basis?
It's so sad. You know, when we talk about security, we have to look at the basis of our existence as a nation.
Of course.
And
of course,
it is enshrined in the Constitution that the role of government,
that's right, first and
is
foremost,
the security and welfare of its citizens.
Yes.
Security and welfare.
yes.
Even the Constitution, which
Says
is the
it.
grand norm of the land, recognizes that individuals, for any country to progress,
Yes.
you need a safe environment. You
Of
need
course.
a safe country. You
Of
need
course.
security.
Of course.
In fact, I tell people, I said, look, since 1999 that we started this journey of democracy, Nigeria was able to achieve significant growth in the Obasanjo era. 8 years. After then, Nigeria has been, things fell apart and the center can no longer hold.
Your
We
opinion,
we had relative peace for the first 8 years of our democratic governance. That's you could see that there were attempts, there were development issues were on top of the agenda. If you look at the 8 years of the Obasanjo regime.
Right.
But since Yar'Adua's regime, to date, we've been fighting Boko Haram. From Boko Haram, we are graduating to ISWAP, to bandits, to local terrorists.
Yeah, that's right.
And when you look at the amount of money the government itself is spending on security, that alone tells you that we have a lot of problems. These are monies that could have been channeled into developmental issues.
That's right.
Nigeria, as at date, spent about $2 billion on security.
Are we seeing the returns on that investment?
If we are seeing the return on the investment, Abuja-Kaduna road won't be shut down. Will you dare travel on that road by road?
I'm not dreaming of doing
What
that.
happened in Owo over the weekend, what won't happen? What is happening in Abuja won't be happening. The whole, the governor of Borno State recently said that about 6 local governments in Borno State have been taken over by ISWAP. It's a very big, it's a huge problem. Even when we are talking about elections, there are people who feel that elections may not even hold in 2023 because of the humongous security challenges we are confronted with as a country. So security is in the Constitution because it is important.
It is the first line duty
yes,
of
government. Where there is no security, there's no development. Where there's no security, there's no investment.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we go into, because I know you were very vehement about the case of Owo. Before we even go into that, let's reverse back a little bit to about a few weeks back, with the case of the girl that was burnt in Sokoto, the one that was burnt in Lagos, and the one that happened a few hours back, or maybe a couple of days back in Lugbe here in Abuja, which was based on that element of religious intolerance. Religious intolerance. What do you think in terms of this? Are we missing it, or are we intentionally derailing ourselves?
Yeah,
Can these things be curbed?
Like I always say, when you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind.
Whirlwind, yes.
Over the years, the question you should ask yourself is, what is the kind of preaching an average northerner, Muslim, hears in the north? Over the years, these people, many of them have been radicalized as a result of the kind of, not all, the kind of preaching.
Of course.
Which many of these people, at times you just want to not say it, but for those who have lived in the far north of the country, they will tell you that most of these people who have become radicalized over time is as a result of the kind of preaching
they must have listened to at one time or the other.
Strong Salafist ideology of Islam that dominates most of the core northern part of the country, where clerics, most of the Islamic clerics in the north, they preach hate. They don't preach unity. They preach.
Not in all cases, though.
That's why I said they preach division. Many
cases.
people who have lived in the far north will tell you that it exists. This kind of preaching exists in such a way that they don't see anything wrong with sniffing off the life of somebody they consider an unbeliever. It's not part of me.
No,
so, because at the end of the day, the point I'm making is that it has to do with, we have created an environment that allowed Islamic radicalism to grow
and take over,
unchecked and take over.
But the thing is, if you remember when the case of the girl, the Samuel girl happened, the Sultan was against it. He said it's not right. That is not the way of Islam.
He was against it. Even what happened in Owo, he was totally against it. He issued a statement yesterday.
That's right.
We commend him for that. But beyond that, look, Bola, we have to begin to understand the interwoven nature of religion and politics in northern Nigeria. A lot of people have written books on this. They've done research and study on it. You cannot divorce religion from the political structures in the north, like it is in the south.
Okay, based on what
you cannot divorce both of them.
Based on what you just said, go ahead.
You find out that religion evokes a lot of passion in the north, in the northern part of the country.
Okay, that brings me. Let me
to the unfortunate incident relating to Deborah Samuel,
yes,
for instance, in Sokoto.
That brings me, based on what you've just said now, and the inference to Owo. I want us to make that our last bit, and then we might as well start now. The case in Owo is totally untoward, unbecoming. I can't even find the right word for it. These were not people on the street defaming Anobe Muhammad. No. They were within their own enclave, within their own vicinity, within their own perimeter wall, doing their worship their own way. I don't know what we're going to call them. Why would they go into a church and kill people in a church? It's not the first time that it's happening. What I don't like is we have a lot of bad people. And what I'm thinking is, are they trying to set us up against ourselves? If you remember lately, a prelate was kidnapped. Lately, when the Deborah case happened, the church of Kuka, they burnt it halfway. They were ready to burn more churches until the governor put in a curfew for 24 hours just to quell situations. Don't you think if we don't sit down, like you rightly said, if we don't sit down to look at this thing closely so that it doesn't develop into a religious war, what are you looking for in the church?
That is why we need to, let me take it from your submission, that we need to sit down and look closely into this problem, into this, religious problem that has the potential of leading to a conflagration of the entire country, engulfing the entire country.
Yes, of course, yes.
A lot of people, we need to, as a country, the security services, the government, need to look at the problem we are confronted with.
Are they really doing their work?
I hope they are doing their work.
No, I'm asking you from your opinion, from what you are seeing, are they doing their work? Because it's becoming serial.
It's becoming serial, it's becoming an issue of concern to the ordinary man on the street.
Yes.
You believe, as a Nigerian, you should feel safe out there.
Yes.
It's like saying there's fire on the mountain. Fire on the mountain. When there's fire on the mountain, what do?
Run.
But in Nigeria, where do you run to?
That's a big question.
You can't run to Kaduna. You can't run to the northwest. You can't run to the southeast. You can't run to the south.
You can't even. There is no road to fly.
Nowhere to run. That's the situation we find ourselves. If maybe you say it was all these years, it was northeast, northwest. You run to the south. You run to the south. But the problem is coming to you. There's fire on the mountain. Nowhere to run.
That's the word now.
That's the question. That's the situation we find ourselves.
Terrible.
Means, what that tells me is that, look, as a country, we need to, because we have nowhere to run to, we need to sit down and address this problem. What is really the problem? If you look at the Owo attack, to me, many people who have commented on it, they are mixing the point. They are mixing the point to the extent that, we want to just ascribe it to Fulani headsmen, Fulani attackers. I think it goes beyond that. There have been security reports, studies. When you look at the spread of organizations like ISWAP in West Africa, what is their mandate? What is their aim? What do they want to achieve? ISWAP has been decimated in most countries where they had roots.
Yes, even in West African countries, in Middle East,
especially in the Middle East. Their focus, if you have taken time to do a little study on their movement and modus of operandi, is evident that they are coming into Nigeria to plant their headquarters here in Nigeria. They started from the northeast, they moved to the northwest, and they have, even from report, they are moving into southern Nigeria. And if For some of the people that have done analysis of their modus of operation, they will tell you that, look, the Owo attack carries the imprint of ISWAP.
Because we can't see any motive. What's the motive?
Yes,
They don't want money. They didn't kidnap anybody. No ransom.
The motive is religion. They don't see any.
But they are using religion as an excuse.
They are using religion as an excuse, but these people are radicalized. They are planting cells all over Nigeria to perpetrate their evil ideology that makes it impossible for them to want to coexist with somebody who doesn't share the same faith and religion with them.
Yeah.
That is just it. If not, you know, how will, from the report we had, men dressed in military fatigue storm a place of worship on a Sunday morning, you know, detonate IEDs and spray them and then walk away? You understand? And there's this element of trying to create confusion within the system.
Okay, wait. From this, you've been able to give us all the brass tacks. In one sentence, what do you think is the solution? One sentence.
Solution is, I can't give it to you in one sentence.
Try.
Solution is de-radicalization. There is this, who are the people feeding this? There's a steady pool of people feeding ISWAP, feeding Boko Haram. These people are radicalized. They have tilted towards radical Islam.
Time is not radicalization.
De-radicalization.
Okay, time is not on our side.
Not just military solution.
Okay, your last word is de-radicalization for us to be able to get the desired effect. On this note, because time is not on our side, security and insecurity is with us. We will do more of this on a regular basis. On this note, I would like to say thank you for honoring the invite, my brother.
All right. Always a pleasure, Blair.
All right, then. And to you, our viewers out there, I am sure you've been able to hear an ear full of ideas, opinions that you can assimilate and then be able to generate your own opinions to drive you.